Hello Ark Swift and welcome to World Book Day, a day for celebrating books, reading and all of the joy and pleasure that reading brings to our lives. We're making a little video as teachers of all of our favourite books and why we love them so much. Starting off with me. My favourite book is H is for Hawk. I say favourite book, I couldn't just choose one because I have so many favourites. This is one of mine. H is for Hawk is by Helen Macdonald, and it's about a woman who goes through some very, very sad times, and in order to help her cope with those sad times, she buys herself a goshawk named Mabel, and by training Mabel, she makes herself much happier and learns lots of lessons along the way. And actually, this isn't a normal story because this is a non-fiction. Helen Macdonald, the author, is the person who went through this, so she's writing about herself. So in that way, it is a biography or a memoir. So, we're going to hear from all of the other teachers at Swift about what their favourite books are. And if you could, send your teacher a video of you explaining what your favourite book is, because we would all love to hear what you like to read. Have a great World Book Day, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be sharing one of my favourite books with you for World Book Day 2021. And I'm going to give you some clues to see if you can work out who the author is, or the writer, of the text that I have chosen to share with you today. So the book that I have chosen is actually a play. It's been written by one of the most influential people in English literature a very long time ago. This writer was born in 1564. And they wrote their plays and their poems around the time of Elizabeth I and James I. I wonder, from those clues, would you be able to work out who the author is? Well, it's William Shakespeare, and I'm sure that lots of you have heard of him. And if you haven't yet, then you most definitely will as you move through your education, your studies and works by Shakespeare in Key Stage 2, and also as you move through into secondary school as well, and probably into your adult life. Because Shakespeare is so influential as a writer on our culture that you will most definitely come across him and hopefully enjoy all of the different plays that he has written. And the one that I have chosen as a favourite of mine is this one here, which is called Much Ado About Nothing. And the reason that I chose this particular play is it's a great example of a Shakespearean comedy. It genuinely is laugh out loud funny. But at the same time, it also has some serious elements too, about honour and about politics. It genuinely is a fantastic read, and it's got some really brilliant characters within there that make it such an enjoyable play. And I do hope that you will enjoy some of Shakespeare's plays as much as I did when I was at school, and also continue to do so as an adult.
Hi everybody, my favourite book when I was little was called Memorias de Dune. It's from a Spanish author, so I can't show you today, but it's about a boy who turns into a dragon and a girl who turns into a unicorn. I loved fantasy books. My favourite British book is Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson, and I love the book because there's a dragon in it and it reminds me to my favourite Spanish book. I quite like when the animals trick the dragon towards the end of the story. I think it's very clever. What is your favourite book? Bye!
Hi there, Ark Swift. So I'm going to show you my favourite book here for World Book Day. And my favourite book is The Alchemist by the author Paulo Coelho. And this particular story is a fable, which is a story with a meaning behind it, which I'm sure is a type of story which many of you have come across before. And this story, The Alchemist, is about a shepherd boy from Spain who travels to northern Africa and then to the Egyptian desert in pursuit of his dreams. And I like this book so much because of the descriptive imagery, which helps me to imagine that I'm actually there. And I love the message behind it, that life is meant to be lived and that dreams are meant to be followed. I find it really life reaffirming, and I like it so much that I've actually returned to read it many times, which is definitely the sign of a good book. And in the future, I hope that you enjoy it too.
My favourite book is called The Smeds and the Smooths by Julia Donaldson. It's about two different families, the Smeds, who are red, and the Smooths, who are blue. These two different families are not allowed to talk to each other, they're not allowed to play with each other, and they don't like each other. But one day, a Smed and a Smoo called Bill and Janet disappear. And their families have to work together to visit all the different planets to find them. In the end of the story, they find them and they've had a baby. But it's not a red baby and it's not a blue baby, it's a purple baby. And the reason I like this is because it's showing us, no matter what our skin colour or our hair colour or what we wear or what we look like, it doesn't matter who we love, but it means that anyone can love each other and be friends with each other.
So, my favourite book is The Giver by Lewis Lowry. I still remember to this day the first time I read this book. It was when I was 11 years old in year 6, and we had a cover teacher and we got like a free hour to do whatever we wanted. And I found the book in the book corner, and I still remember the feeling that I felt when I started reading that book. I couldn't recommend it enough. It is such a good read. It's about a young boy who's 12 years old called Jonas, and at the beginning it seems like he lives in a pretty normal society, but everything is not as it seems. There's lots of twists and turns. Jonas has to ask himself a lot of questions about the world he lives in, and that actually in turn makes you, the reader, question what you think is right and what is wrong. I would definitely recommend this book, especially for our upper key stage 2, years 5 and 6, because it has a gripping storyline, it has amazing descriptive writing, and it's very thought-provoking. So go read it. The Giver by Lewis Lowry.
Hello Ark Swift, it's Mr. Valet here. My book that I've chosen for World Book Day is Varjatpur number 2, so The Outlaw Varjatpur. It's a great book because it is fictional, because it's got talking cats and cats that do kung fu, which is quite exciting, but also it's kind of almost like we get to experience what cats live like every day. And it's a really good build upon the first book, which had lots of fighting in it that was really interesting, and then also a really good ending. So it builds upon everything from before, and everyone else in the Worcester class who's read this book has also loved it. Happy World Book Day.
Hello everyone, my name is Miss Joannu, and I'm going to talk to you about my favourite book, which is called The Book Thief. So this book follows a young girl set in World War II, and obviously World War II was a very difficult time for a lot of people in Britain, and this little girl was surrounded by so many hardships and so many difficulties being part of the war and having war going on around her, and the only thing that she had to keep her through were books. And it's a really interesting write. Those of you who have been in my classes know how much I love history, and it is based, like I said, on World War II. So you're learning a lot of facts about World War II, about what life was like during that time, and also following a really lovely girl on her story to simply find a love of reading and to follow that love of reading even when times are tough. So I don't want to give you too much information about the book. I really, really love it. So if you get a chance, especially year 6s, when you get into secondary, to read The Book Thief, there is a really interesting twist as to who writes this book, because it's not written by the little girl, it's not written by her family, it's not written in third person by another writer or by the author. It has a very interesting narrator. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. I love it so much, and yeah, I really wanted to share it with you.